Hello and a very good morning to you. I hope you guys are well out there. Welcome. It's Wednesday morning here in Spain. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. In UK, I believe you're 10 o'clock. And on the eastern side of Australia, you guys are about 8 o'clock in the evening. So very, very good morning, good evening to you. Hope your day is going well. Hope your day has gone well. And I think we need to start the show with a little bit of this. Well, it's lovely to see you guys. I hope you're well. I hope you had a lovely, lovely day. Lovely day if you're in the eastern side of the world. And if you're joining us this morning, a very good morning to you. And I hope you're doing the right thing. You're saying the right thing. What is this? What is this? Well, of course, in a cafe clairvoyance, you need a coffee or a tea. I hope this is something that's going on there with you. Anyway, so this morning, very shortly, I'm joined by the fabulous Guiomar, where we're talking about today's astrology. And thank you very much to the people who have written in so far. We've got a lovely comment there already. And also what I'd like to say to you guys is that over the next sort of few days or so, we'll be putting on a very special show for you. You'll notice things getting slightly festive as they do there. So that'll be absolutely fabulous. Looking forward to that. And also from the producer, she wishes everybody a fabulous, fabulous day, fabulous festive wishes there. And guys, this is what we like to do during the show, please. We're lovely to do this. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to start the show this morning because Guiomar is having a couple of difficulties, technical difficulties here. So we'll get on with it very, very shortly. But just to say, first of all, though, and this is one of the things that have been going on. In fact, I'll even bring on the astrology chart just to show you guys this. And here it is. Here it is. And right, okay. So you notice there that everything is down the southern area of the chart. And as we look at the southern area of the chart, it means everything's going on below us here in this part of the horizon. If you're in Australia, guys, then it's all happening for you because it's happening above you. How's that? Caitlin says, this is far too much information. Far too much information. Caitlin says she's about to go to bed. No, you don't need to do that. You can stay up another hour and watch this. So sad I can't watch. Have a great day, everyone. But that's very nice of you. So I think you're the last person in America to actually go to bed and close their eyes. So that must be, we are 11 o'clock. My goodness, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I think you're the last American over there to close their eyes and say good night. So good night from us. We wish you a lovely evening's sleep. And this is just to wish you all. And just in case, yes, we're giving this just to help you go off sleep too. See, now you're wide awake and now you want to watch the show. Of course, why not? It makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. Great, brilliant. And we've got loads of people coming this morning. We've got Nabila, who wished to say hello. Hello, Nabila. Lovely, lovely to see you. I hope you're well. And we also got Susanna. She's coming to hi, Phil. We've got also got Charlotte. Alan says hello from a very mild Dunstable. Okay, very mild. Okay, that's nice. Photographs I've seen recently has been grey, miserable, and a bit on the wet side. And I daren't tell you what's going on over here because it's different. And for you guys there down in Australia, I think you're having a fabulous time too. Okay, right. So what do you need to know for you this morning? Okay, so if you'd like a reading, we need your date of birth. We need your favourite colour. And this is a colour that you could choose related to the question you're writing it about. And of course, as I'm leading on from that, also a question. Now, the question could be anything. If you go for a general, we'll just go off and then just see what there is. If you go for something specific, we'll look at that specific question there. How's that? Is that okay? That would be fabulous. Now, also what I'd like to point you out here is that this show is, it goes on for the hour. On Friday, I'm joined by the fabulous Helen Grady. Helen Grady will be coming on, and she will be showing me doing mediumship. And there's always a lively show, always funny, always great fun. And we try to mix the times around like this, so then people in Australia can see this, and people in America on the Friday show can see that then, because they're earlier on in the day. We try to mix and match these things. Good. Okay. And Deborah says hello, everyone. Good. And guys, this is what we would like you guys to do during the show. This would be great if you could do this. Yes, it's share the show. Share the show if you could do that. Down your bottom right hand corner there there's the share button. If you share it out there, it's fabulous because this show is free, and that would be fabulous. Good. Now Guiomar she just says got it. So she'll be joining us very, very shortly, and that'd be fabulous. Good. And what else would I like to say to you guys this morning? Okay, so coming in this morning, we got the energy, isn't it? Do you feel it's a bit different? You feel it's a bit different. You feel it's anything out there which is going a little bit more to the positive, perhaps? Do you think? Because we've got a bit more Sagittarian energy coming in now. And the Sagittarian always helps us to look forwards, to look out for things, to feel that bit more positive. It's also a great thing, especially if you're starting off a new plan, because we're looking ahead. Sagittarius is a great sign for doing this particular business here. So it's fantastic for doing that. It's also great if you're thinking about getting fit. It's also great if you're doing... The meter says it's all gone mad. What do you mean? Well, it will soon calm down. That's partially, I guess, because we've got, Mars is coming up close to making a square to Pluto. And we'll be talking about that very shortly. So if you imagine energy of Mars in Aries is bounding along there. And as it comes in here, it's making this square to Pluto, which is about... you've got to deal with this, and then you've got to deal with that. There are little hitches here, but this relationship series between Mars, Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn has been going on for ages, ever since about June, because these ones have been going backwards and forwards, or at least Mars has been going backwards and forwards, but now it's moving on. So this is, in a sense, I would say here that this is about... Trying to get a link, but doesn't work. All right, okay, I'm going to... I'm just doing a double thing here, guys, as we're going along. I'm going to send this over to Guiomar so she gets a link here. So just bear with me as I'm doing this to get Guiomar on the show. But anyway, this energy we're going through to do with Mars, although it's... Good. That's the one. Right. That should be that sorts out. Good. And good. Right. Sorry. So what's going on here is this relationship series between Mars and those planets that have been going on. But now what we're doing here, it's about, well, here's your final bit. Here's your final bit to get things going. Here's the final part, which is going to help things work. Anyway, I think here that after a few little technical difficulties, we've got. The doorbell's ringing. That must be that Guiomar's here. Yay! Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. There's just no way of connecting today. It was so weird. It's like I tried with one computer, got blocked. Tried with another computer, it got blocked. Tried with my tablet, got blocked. Tried with my phone, didn't work. It's like,
oh dear,
everything blocked.
What's Mercury up to? It's normally a Mercury thing, isn't it, when we get blocked like that?
Yeah.
We had a slight issue on a show last night where the producer was going through the comments, and then the comments got up to 100, and that's it. She was shut out. So then so I couldn't see anything that Deborah was saying, feeding back into everybody. But there you go. So yes, must be a few hitchy bits there. Anyway, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, yes. Phil. Good morning, everybody. Good.
I like the colour coordination you've got going there with the terracotta and those lovely colours there. Good morning. And the mug in sequence too. What's this like? I mean, I'm trying to do the same here. Look, Anyway, I'm trying. I'm trying. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I was just talking there about.
Your mug is also color coded to
Well,
your
and we're all doing well here. We've got the blues, and we got the terracottas, and we got a little bit the mustards, and oh dear, here we
yeah,
go. Good, great. So the energies at the moment. I mean, I just Nabila put up a comment. She said, uh, hang on, I'll just put her back up there. There she is. I was saying here that the energy will start to lift because we've got Venus now going to Sagittarius. It's normally a bit more positivity. It's out of that sensitivity of Scorpio. But Nabila says, it's all gone mad. What do you mean?
yeah.
Where's the mad bit, do you think? Is that Mars? Is that Mars lining up with Pluto?
And no, it has a lot to do with the eclipse.
Yeah, I think so
We had
too.
an eclipse
Yes.
on Monday, the day before yesterday,
Okay.
and that eclipse has mobilized a lot of things because it's like in a way it's like an ending beginning an eclipse. It's like
Yep.
the end of an era and the beginning of another one. It's sort
Okay.
of like very pivotal point right now in
Yep.
this eclipse. We've got the south node with the sun and the Mercury that happened. Well, the eclipse was 2 days ago, so let me check exactly what was going on. There was like yeah, it was the sun, moon, and Mercury together in the south node,
Okay.
and that was making a T square to Neptune. It was like Neptune can be either sacrificing or it can be spiritual. So it's something on the grounds of all in Sagittarius. It's like we have to integrate the way we think, which is our thought patterns, our belief patterns, have to be integrated to create a new way of thinking.
Okay.
um if you don't with that Neptune, it can go into sacrifice. So you also with the Sagittarius energy, everything gets very much expanded and obvious. So it's like it could either go either of two ways. One way is like really seeing where we've been created, really seeing our old patterns and suffering them.
Yep.
Or if you don't see them, you see very obvious bad things happen because it's like the exaggeration of things. So you can really come into contact with the patterns from which you're creating your reality from. But if you are more aligned with yourself, then it's like really an incredible gateway to an empowerment, to just finally achieving the integration of those patterns, those mental patterns, those beliefs that do not align with the new world that is being created.
It is a new world, isn't it? And it is something new we're coming into. And I know there's some people who are saying of the latter, exactly what you're saying there. They're feeling very empowered. Empowered is like at last we feel like they're moving on somewhere. I know other
Yeah.
people are saying here that they're having great difficulty still holding on to the old Scorpio energy of this fear, this
Yes.
insecurity, and how that's been playing out. And very much the ruler Pluto, which is in about to make a square to Mars coming up very shortly. That's another energy, but that's been going in a little series, though, hasn't it? It's been going on since about June. They've all been going backwards and forwards, making
Yeah.
those links. But this is the
Yeah.
final link it's going to make to Pluto for a little while, making this square.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think, yes,
Yeah, and the way it's all happening in the mind, and
yes,
also the Mercury retrograde cycle started in Gemini. There's a lot of Gemini energy, so it's all how are we using the mind? Are we using the mind to separate, to criticize, to create division, or are we using the mind to accept, to recognize and acknowledge differences, and then 10 bridges, trying to bridge those differences with others. Like, you think differently than I do, but I accept the way you think. I understand why you think that way because of where you come from. And I think differently, but it's okay. We can still get together. We can still talk. We can still
yeah,
do projects
yeah,
together. So it's a bit this, no, that we have to change that mind shift. And what can happen also is that, for example, with this eclipse, I've seen three types of reaction. No? So for me, it was like energy and empowerment.
yeah.
I really went, I was really happy with this eclipse. But I see a lot of people that are really, really tired. When you get
Ah,
really, really, really
ah.
tired,
The producer says I felt tired this last week.
yeah.
Yes.
So when you get really, really, really tired, that's the step previous to a jump in timeline. So
Yeah.
a timeline is a time sequence in which we experiment a pattern. And
Yes.
a timeline can be collective or individual, it can be huge or it can be small. So you're living in a timeline and you're just repeating the same old pattern over and over again, just with different variations, which make you believe that you have some control over your life, which isn't true. For example, if I was hurt or bullied when I was a little child, and then I can turn into somebody who's an expert in relationships, and then I can be really friendly to everybody, and that way avoid being hurt again. Or I can turn into a victim and being hurt, be
Yes.
hurt.
Yeah.
So it's always playing around the same theme. That's a timeline. So it's a pattern that is repeated over time. And this is a linear conception of time. Okay, time is not linear. We believe it's linear. We have a belief that time is linear. And because of this belief, we repeat patterns
Uh-huh.
on this way of perceiving time, right?
Very interesting.
So
Very interesting.
what
This.
we're doing basically is we're creating future based on past experiences.
Uh-huh.
Normally and generally trying to avoid the past experiences in the future, which is like a big mistake because that's going to make things get harder and harder and harder. So the more you avoid an experience, the tougher life gives you a situation like that is tougher and tougher. So you actually say, okay, I'm open to the experience, right? So experiences are there for you to have them, not for you to avoid them, which is what we tend to do. So when we avoid experiences, we prolong timelines. We stretch and stretch and stretch, and it becomes heavy, 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 right? So what happens there is that there's these moments of huge feeling of like tiredness of, oh, I just can't stay awake. I just like, oh, I'm so tired. That's there so you can make a leap in time in the timeline, so you can let go of the past patterns. But we think that is wrong with our silly society based on mind and, I don't know, strange values that are in against all natural things. So we think that it's bad to feel tired, and what we do is we resist because we equate being tired to something going wrong, to we equate letting go to death, to disaster, and all that is not true. So the reason why in the past time has been change has been so shocking, it's because we don't let go. It's
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
precisely we don't give into the tiredness. So if you learn to give in and to let go, then the change is very, very soft. So the thing is, we're afraid of change because in the past, since we didn't want to change, change came on to us in a very hard way. But that's because you don't change yourself. So instead of that, if you understand the time dynamic, if you understand the dynamic of change, then you let yourself go when you feel the tiredness. And I'll just describe how this dynamic goes so you can play with it even. So what you have to do is you're going to feel resistance. I
Yeah.
don't want to stop. I don't want to let go. I don't want to think of this. For example, imagine if you are a housewife with children and you're used to being always worried about your children. So your children are in your mind all the time, right? So we have this belief that if we stop thinking about something, then that something is going to die.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
silly, but we have just I invite you to really start to observe this. Or if you stop thinking about your work, then everything's going to go to hell and everything's going to get lost.
It's about
Or if,
those. Yes, I agree with you because I mean, lots of people say, "Oh, that they can't come out of a situation because no one's going to be able to survive without them," and they always do. They always do this bit. And how can life carry on if I'm not there? They automatically put this responsibility, this heavy load on their shoulders when really that's not true.
no,
Things
no, no,
do.
no. The truth is, when you go on vacation and you disconnect from all that and you forget about your family, you forget about the people you'd normally take care of, you forget about your work, and nothing happens. Nothing bad happens. It's like it's still there,
Still there.
but
Yeah.
we have this thing about stop thinking about a thing or a person or a group of people or my job, my work, whatever. So we think if we stop thinking about something, they're lost and we're lost.
Yes. Yes.
So because of that, we resist change.
I agree with you. Now, this changed this because I noticed this. I noticed this back in January of this year. Now, suddenly I was feeling, what's all this? What's all this tiredness? Why am I feeling this fatigue? Do you think it started around that time, this timeline shift?
We have, I mean, this year is a big timeline shift for all humanity, right?
Yeah.
So there are many moments this year where we're going to feel that we have felt that tiredness, right? Then individually, we all have moments depending on what the astrological energies, what they're activating, because we resonate with a lot of things in common, but there are also like specific issues that maybe I don't resonate so much and you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where there would be a difference. So each astrological moment begs to observe and feel the energies that are what they're activating in that moment, to be able to release from in a very easy way, in a very soft and smooth
Yes.
way.
Yes. Okay.
So
That's
that
interesting. That's interesting because a lot of people are actually saying this year, I felt it. I felt it in January of this year, thinking, what's going on? There's something wrong here. Why am I feeling this fatigue? And then sometimes thinking, I've just got to go to bed in the afternoon. Thinking, oh well, I'll just give in to it and go to bed. And I did. But then I look, and then it's interesting what you're saying in the background here, that in your life, the things that are changing in your life, if you go with the changes and advance and go into more the modern future, let go of the past, then after a while, this fatigue, this feeling exhaustion and tiredness tends to move on. It has.
Well, the thing is, if you don't create resistance, because so when the change of timeline happens, imagine this is a timeline, right?
Yep.
So then you reach, I'm doing this for the public, so that would be, this would be the path. No,
Yep.
this would be the
Yep.
path.
You're spot on there. Yep. They can see
That's
you.
the past. This is the future. Okay. So we're in the present moment, really, and everybody says you have to be in the present moment, blah blah blah. Everything happens in the present moment, and you're like, what does that mean? What does that even mean? It means being present in your body, anyway. So the more present you are, also the easier it is to make a jump in timeline because it's more organic for you. So you're in. No, wait a minute.
Mm.
Here,
Yep.
you're in the past.
It's like we're doing a birdie song at the minute.
Yeah. You're in the past, so what happens is you start feeling the fatigue, because there's another way of jumping timelines, which is by being in the future, but that's not what's active right now.
Okay.
Now, this is creating intention, but I'm not going to talk about this type. I'm talking about this type. So you feel the fatigue, right? So first you start feeling resistance to change, resistance to resting, resistance of letting go, of stop thinking about things. But really what we have to do is don't resist, just let go. And the best thing you can do is, sleep and lay on the sofa, on your bed, whatever it is, and just let yourself go. Just give in to the tiredness, right? And
I
normally if we
agree.
just give in to the tiredness and don't do anything, like don't even look at TV, social networks, don't read, don't do anything, let your mind shut down, right? So if you do that, then the energy starts going down, down, down. You go through the resistance, and when it reaches almost the bottom, what happens here is there's two feelings. One is nothing makes sense, and the other one is I'm absolutely alone in the world. Okay,
Wow. Wow.
so if
Now that are
can you
two.
imagine?
They're they're two very powerful emotions, aren't they?
Exactly. But if we know that that's what you're going to encounter there, then it's like, oh, wow, that's what she said was going to happen. It's like, oh, this is interesting. This is
Yep.
not something that comes out of nowhere and is going to gobble me up. This is part of what's going on. This is part of the process, right? And like, if you don't believe me, just stop and think about times in your life where you have felt these emotions and this sequence, or have had this moments of tiredness, and what's happened. And I'll prove this to you right afterwards. So once you feel the aloneness.
Oh, you're just frozen for a second. Hopefully you're coming back in a minute. I'm sure it will do. It'll jump in a minute. If not, we're going to get her back in just a second. Okay, so this is interesting, isn't it, guys?
Sure,
Oh, there you
sure.
are. You're back. Woo!
Yeah. So if we, it's, I guess it's just the glitches of the day. So if we go through the aloneness, if we just give it into that emotion, just go in it. I mean, all you need to jump a timeline is like 10-15 minutes, at the most half an hour. You don't need more. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can, if you know that, then you can allow yourself for 10 or 15 minutes to, okay, I'm disconnecting. I'm letting
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Okay. So you go through the feeling alone and just go into it instead of getting away from it. If you go into it, you're going to find out something marvelous, which is every human being on this planet has something in common, and that is we all feel alone at some point in some way. We all feel the same type of disconnection. People deal with it differently, are more or less conscious of it, but we all have it.
This is powerful stuff. This is very strong stuff, because a lot of people, when they feel this, are going to they're going to jump backwards sometimes rather than going forwards. Because I think,
Mm-hmm.
where was my safety net? Oh, yes, of course, it was hanging on to the alligator's tooth as a frog.
Exactly.
Yes, which
Exactly.
I love
So
that
the
picture.
so the safety net is going to be now the 15 minutes you're going to give yourself, 15 to 30 minutes that you're going to give yourself to just experiment this.
Yeah,
So life's not going to change around you. Nothing bad's going to happen if for 15 minutes you let yourself feel these things.
yes.
So that's the safe space now.
It's amazing how many people at this moment in time, and I know some very good friends are doing this, and one of them is Kelly Leaning. She's doing this, and she's doing a process of meditation courses at the moment to help people um, get through this particular, just to help people, just be in their minds, just be in their hearts, just enjoy the stillness, and it's
Yeah.
about healing. And so it's interesting that people are doing this. I know they've been doing it throughout the year, but this particular just started just now. So it's bang on the time. I think that people need this type of experience, and I guess the feeling here as well, when you feel alone, feel this alone. For some people, it's not a nice feeling. Not a feeling at all. And you've got the present experience of lockdowns and things like this, and that just adds to that feeling of being alone. But then I
Yeah,
can
the thing is,
imagine, yeah, then I can
mm,
imagine though that the people that you resonate with, you can then form a better or new or harmonious relationship of friendship, love, whatever it is that you want to build with that person, and a new
totally,
beginning starts.
totally, totally, totally. And the thing is that if you actually go through the feeling instead of trying to fight it off, and as I said, your safety net is it's 15 minutes of exercise. You don't need any more.
Yes.
So for 15 minutes, give yourself into this. Afterwards, do whatever you think you want to do.
Yeah.
So you're safe. You can
Yes.
explore this. So once you go through the loneliness, what you find on the other side is a deep feeling of connectedness and love.
Yes.
So it's like, oh wow, like every human being in the planet is trying to flee loneliness, and when you actually face it and go into it, what you find is love and connection. It's with yourself and the world. It's like, pfft, what are we doing, right? So then the next emotion, so first comes the loneliness, and the second one, which is right after it, is uh, not knowing what's going to happen in the future. It's a feeling of nothing makes sense anymore. It's
Yes.
a feeling of
Doubt.
my future is bleak, it's black, I don't see anything, I don't know what's going to happen, right? So we have this fear of not knowing what's going to happen, when the truth of the matter, the fact is that we never know what's going to happen, and we fear that, but we never do know. And the only reason we have the sensation that we do know what's going to happen is because we're repeating the same old pattern in the same timeline over and over again. So repetition gives us a false sense of security.
Okay. Okay.
It's like saying, I'm going to give a bit of a strange analogy, but it's what came into my mind. Sorry, guys, I'm a Scorpio rising. But it's like
Right.
saying, my husband pees on the toilet every day, and it annoys me. But that's my comfort zone because I know he's there. That's that's my signal that he's there. And it's
Yes.
like we're just hanging on to people peeing on our toilet. Guys, this doesn't make any sense.
I would have an answer to that, because every time I used to speak to a very special person before I actually got into a relationship with her, every time she phoned, that's where I was, on the loo. It was amazing. The phone ring thing. Oh, hello. She just, don't tell me where you are. Know where you are. I said, yes, you're right. Why is it I phone right at that point? And I think, right, there's something here. I'm in my calm place. It's amazing the amount of thinking that goes on there. And I think it's quite funny, actually, but I think men tend to sit down on a loo and with a newspaper and think a lot more than maybe women do at that particular point in time.
Yeah, that's their space. That's
The
their thinking
space,
space.
yes, that cubicle bit. I know
Yeah.
Deborah downstairs just going, I don't believe you just said
Yeah.
that.
The thing is, what's funny is like externally, because I like to see things at a deeper level, right? That normally
Yeah,
people see life at a very superficial level from my perspective. So um what they you think that men are usually like they're out there, they're in the world, they're not connecting to their emotions and all that stuff. And it's not really true. They need like there's a part of them that reflects their emotional side, which is usually projected onto their wives.
yeah,
So the wife is the one that has to stay at home and be in touch with herself. So the more women go out into the world, the more men have to go in because they're not holding that projection from them anymore. And the only place they can feel safe is a locked up cubicle. They need a little cave to be on their own. So the toilet's the best place for that.
that dynamic. Yeah, it is. This is a hilarious conversation.
Hey, I'm not through with the change dynamic. Okay, I gotta go
Yeah,
back to
to go
that.
through that, sit down in fear and come out in positivity. That's great. Where did you do that? I was on a loop.
I'm changing a time, honey. I'm going to the loo. I'm gonna jump a timeline. Please don't.
Yeah, jumping on timeline. No, it's interesting because I used to have one of those.
But Phil, sorry, but Phil, one of my famous phrases is "In comes the light, out comes the shit, the crap, or whatever you want to call it."
To add to add to that, that's brilliant. We used to have
So that's why
this old.
that's why you read a book or information. That's how the light's coming in.
Yes, yeah. I remember we used to have this back in Dunstable in the UK. We had the toilet, and in the toilet was this light that used to look like Doctor Who's TARDIS. So it always felt like you were going into a time zone and you were going to come out somewhere different. We used to go in there going, guess where I'm going?
The Twilight Zone. It's the Twilight Zone.
There's a toilet zone. You come out in a new time zone. Oh, dear, this
Too
is
much
fantastic.
Doctor Who. You've seen too much Doctor Who.
Yes. Now, Susanna says, is that why the men invented man caves? Is that why?
Yes, 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 yes. They need it.
They need. They
They
do.
need,
They do. They
they
go
need it.
and
It's funny because they think they want their freedom and their independence, but they want a womb.
that's
So they
interesting, isn't
want,
it? Yeah, to feel safe in, and that takes us back to inner child, doesn't it?
yeah,
This is
or even better than that, inner fetus.
this is so funny because we're having a conversation last night, and I had Jamuna Javina Das on. Quite a few people watching it. It's hilarious. But they're saying here, and then his philosophy of Hinduism and through Hare Krishna is that women are generally 8 times more lustful than men. But I said that's crazy because men think about it more than women do. I said yes, but that's because men think, but women do. So and Hare Krishna and one of the gods had to expand himself 8 times to feed one of the female goddesses who wanted sex 8 times more than just one person. I think that is amazing. And now we're having a conversation about this. This is incredible. What amazing 2 days of talking about women and their lustful encounters 8 times more powerful than men, and men are now going to be what? But
Yeah.
this shows
So men go what, and they go into the toilet to their
they go
man
into the
caves.
toilet and think, God, now what do I do? I'm going to escape. They've got to go to time zone. Is it safe to come out?
Yeah.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is so funny.
Anyway, so
Anyway,
back in the jumping timeline, I left people there like just holding on from a line.
holding on to the
What I
toilet
don't know
roll.
what's going to
That's
happen
it.
in the future. The future is bleak. What's going to happen? So why do we have this? Because when you're jumping timeline, since the new timeline is different than the previous one, then obviously you don't know what kind of future you're going to
Oh, we just there is a funny thing going on today, isn't there? One of the things going on with
Yeah,
the
I think
internet.
that
Ah, we're back again. Good.
well, you know what's happened? It's I'm feeding this the connection I'm using is my phone line because oh God, I'm using my phone line and every time a call comes in, it disconnects.
Ah, I see. Just tell people during the show, guys, if you're watching the show, do not phone Guiomar, please.
Anyway, so
So I've thrown you now. Apologies.
I know. So we can't create a few. We don't have this sensation that we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and that's actually an excellent thing because that allows us to be more creative in
Okay.
what's going to happen in the future, right? So then after the resistance, we had feeling alone, we've had I don't know what the future's going to have for me or what's going to prepare for me. Then we touch rock bottom.
Okay.
That's the famous feeling of touching rock bottom. So once we touch rock bottom, then the only way up is up. And as soon as we
Okay.
start going up, we go through the creative void.
Okay.
So the creative void is a feeling of emptiness, of nothingness, but it's full of multiple possibilities.
Okay. Wow.
But
Okay.
we're afraid of the emptiness. We're afraid of the void.
We are. Yes.
But the
Yes.
void is creative. It's when you touch rock bottom. I don't know if you've had guys, like I'm sure most of you have had this feeling like you're like depressed and you just don't do nothing. And then suddenly it's like, okay, I can't go further than this. You just you give yourself into that and you touch rock bottom, or sometimes it's through very drastic situations when there's lots of resistances. And then suddenly it's like, oh wow, it's a whole new world of possibilities that is opening up in front of me, and suddenly you get all these ideas and like you have a really clear vision of where you're going towards. Well, that's the creative void. That's what happens on the other side of a jump in timeline.
I think that's amazing. It's incredible, isn't it? And I think this is a big subject because it's a circle, isn't it? It's a big circle of life. We call it a timeline, but it's a circle of experience you're going through along a timeline. Now, I love timeline therapy and I love timeline about health and about quite a few things. But it is so interesting. Very, very interesting. Right. Okay. Now, we're going to do a little bit of this and then we're back in a moment. We're going to start doing some readings because a couple of you guys out there want to read it. See you in a minute. But what a fascinating morning. I'm gripping onto the toilet roll. I'm wondering what's going to happen next. Okay, we're back, and Sarah K has written in. Now, we did have another lady here who wrote in, but she hasn't shown herself on the show, so we're going to jump straight over to Sarah, if that's okay. Sarah K, she's 14th of the 8th, 1985, and she wants to talk about close relationships, and I'm just seeing the other write-up there. And is there any room for close relationships in her life? Any room? Now it's interesting here because first of all, I'd just like to work on your numbers, and this is absolutely interesting, very very interesting. And just as I'm about to start this, actually, I'd just like to say, Davina, if you're out there, just let us know that you're there, and then we'll do your reading as well. But I haven't seen you on the feed, so okay, great. Okay, Sarah, so the first thing I'd say here is you're a 9 in numerology. You're also in a 9 year, personal year 9. It's interesting this because with relationships of any kind, here's the most important part I would say to you with this. I think from just looking at your numbers, this is important. Any relationship which you encounter, if it works, it will go into the future. If you're having to work on this, forget it, let it go. Nines are endings and beginnings. You're the wise one, you're the philosopher, you're the one who's got the energy here who people want to connect with. And if you have that awareness that people can actually say, if they want to work to build a relationship with you, that is something of value that's worth taking forwards in your life. I know you can say that about anybody, but yours is a 9 energy. It's very different. Because otherwise here, you've got to let them go, because it's always feeling like you're dragging along a ball and chain, or you're feeling like there's, oh God, why I'm feeling so tired with this. It's not working. Why is my life not happy? This is important. This is why I feel here that you'll come up to, this is a time where I think about relationships. It's important that you have people want to work with you on this, not you're having to work to make it work. Hopefully that makes sense on numerology. I'm going to come back on other senses in a minute, but I just wanted to get that point across because I thought it was interesting when I saw your numbers there, and you're a 3-6 as well in your in your numbers as well. And what that's saying here too is, in fact, there's a couple of things just to add in on this. The 3 is about communication with people. It's about how things work. Do we all connect? Do we understand one another? 6 is wanting to build like a family unit, which is great. It's building, but feeling that there's involvement. It's got to have balance on both sides. And this year, you're in a 1-8-9 year. The 1 is about, I need things for me. For me, it's not always keeping everybody else happy. I need what makes me happy to make other people happy. And then you have a very powerful 8. So anybody who gets involved with you had better be serious, and had better be on cue with you. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. That's what I'd say. Okay, pop down the road. What would you like to say?
So Sarah has, it's interesting because there's a lot of different energies going on here. So there's a moon in Cancer, and the sun is in Leo. So there's a contradiction there already, you know? So moon in Cancer, for me, it's all about mom hates dad.
Yeah.
Okay, so the low vibration of moon in Cancer, mom hates dad. So when you're brought up in a household where there's this animosity that could be very hidden, but it's there, the dynamic that is created is that mom wants her own space, right? Mom wants her own space for some reason, and she feels very uncomfortable when dad is around. So basically, she pushes him away in a more covert or overt way. That doesn't matter, but there's this energy like, leave me my space, because mom in truth wants to do her own thing in life but doesn't admit it because she has to take care of the children, blah blah blah. So then the sun in Leo, Leo wants to do their own thing. They want to be the one who takes care, who protects everybody. There's also Sagittarius and Mercury there, but that's also like a more dominating position, right? But then the Lilith in Taurus says, oh, but I'm codependent, I need somebody. So it's very likely that you project the sun onto your partner. So you think, okay, he's the Leo, he's the bright one, he's the one that's going to protect me, he's the one that's going to take care of me. But at the same time, your moon is pushing him away. So this is interesting, because if that happens, then of course you can't create a close relationship with somebody.
This is really interesting. Really interesting.
That moon has to, you have to take care of yourself and what you need, what your needs are, like physiological needs, not like I need a I don't know, I need this from you. It's not about asking the other person for something. It's about giving it to yourself, because if you don't, you're going to push away the person that comes near you, because you're going to project on them those unowned aspects of yourself, which is the sun. So this is interesting.
It is, and I like that energy. I wanted the 9 energy as well. This is endings and beginnings, but having the wisdom there to understand, relate that there is a need here to be. If relationships are going to work, great. If they're not, leave them, and move on to someone else. I think that's an important part. If I use the tarot on this, just look at this. I get the feeling here. There's now. Would you understand, Sarah, that there's something as well. It's almost like a drift of smoke. You know, in the old phrase here, we get there's no smoke without fire. And but smoke is also telling me here, what is it else that something's triggering in you that's saying here, something isn't quite right. Something isn't quite right. What is it you've got to look for and understand without being too analytical, without being projecting too much onto the other person, that it's their issue here. I can see this is interesting because you're trying to create fairness in a relationship. and you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But then you've got, now this is interesting, you've got the death card here, which is transition, which is change. So what is it that's changing? Are you changing? Is the other person changing? It's not just about, oh great, that's it, it's end. No, not necessarily at all. This is about transition and looking at what do I need to do to make things work to become easier with a relationship in itself. So that's, hopefully that helps there. Mm. Oh, you've just frozen again. There's another call coming in. Right. Okay. Now let's go. There's your there's Guiomar will come back on any second time. There we are. We're back again. Right. Okay. Now we've got another lady who's.
There. I want to say something more.
Hello.
No,
Sorry.
wait.
Wait.
Am I working? Can you hear?
I'm waiting. We're waiting and waiting. Sarah says thank you. That's okay. Hopefully you understand that. Hope you understand where that's coming from, where it's going to. And when Guiomar comes back, oh dear, little old internet issues this morning, but never mind, never mind. There we go. Right, okay. Susanna, I think Susanna's the next one. Yes, Susanna comes in. She says a general reading, please. Now, okay, now you're there. Let's go back to, yes, what would you like to say there?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, so there's a Saturn in Scorpio. So Saturn in Scorpio has difficulties to open up intimately, and at the same time, the Lilith in Taurus needs codependency, but Lilith in Mars wants freedom. So there's this fear of being trapped in the commitment of a relationship. So this is what's important about that commitment has to be with yourself and your own well-being, and from there create a new relationship with the same person or not, or it doesn't really matter, no? But the important thing is that you learn to commit to yourself and to your own well-being and not expect that to come from the outside.
That's the death in itself, the death of changing, transition. I can really relate on why that card is there, showing that change, that transformation. So it's not you, Susanna. That there is for Sarah. It's just on just a minute ago, but the line froze. Okay, Susanna's gone for the colour yellow.
What
I'll just read it out to you. She's the 28th of November in the year 1960. She just wants a general reading, and as I'm picking up here, the yellow colour here sets me off straight away. And because I'd like to communicate, I'd like to connect with you on this straight away, Susanna. And that is, I've got loads of energy around you right now. Yellow here is, would you understand about keeping yourself up, learning, upbeat, positive, vibey out there, and not worrying about any recent or not too distant past disagreements, but to keep yourself vibey, keep yourself positive. What's important here as well, I'm picking up at the moment, is being open enough to see 2 points. 2 points of view, your point of view, other people's point of view at this moment, especially because the yellow color here, love it, very vibey, very up there, very uplifting. And people, sometimes you can feel here at a particular time that relationships, friendships, whether it's personal or family, there is a little bit of healing that can come on here. But we're not mugs, so we don't just accept everybody else's rubbish and stuff like this. But this is also about, though, being uplifting, keeping that energy up there, keeping it so, okay, all right, let's try to see eye to eye and let's try to make things happen. That's interesting at the moment. Very interesting man who's coming through here. And he tells me here he was a teacher. And very old school man as well here. So it's about, this is so interesting because he's telling me here, playing by rules. Playing by rules. So there's a fairness about rules. Look, you can't go and give 75% and someone else gives 25%. That won't work. He's a very interesting man. I hope you'd understand it because he wants to show me schools. He wants to show me as a teacher. If he wasn't a teacher, he was a lecturer. But he's a very interesting man. Very old school. Very strict man, he tells me here. And he goes up, I believe he goes up your father line. And as I'm talking to, I get a feeling his name began with M. You know, like Martin. M-R. And I'll also pick up, no, M or D. M or D, just being corrected by him here. Very interesting man, very black hair, very dark hair, very serious looking man, almost a Scorpio, the way I see intensity in him and his strictness. But I just pick up from him, he's saying to you, it's about relationships and the need to have some rules or boundaries, things like this. Then I think there's healing that's going to go on now. Over to you, Guiomar.
So, Susanna says Lilith in Cancer with Mars, and also which talk about being very sensitive, but being very wounded emotionally since a very, very young baby. And what that leads to, together with the moon in Aries, is to being a people pleaser, being
Okay.
somebody who's always thinking about what other people think, and so to give them what she perceives or you perceive that they need. But by doing that, you're not in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's also a Chiron Uranus opposition, so it's just an aspect of individuation. And Lilith Uranus. So if you don't actually take care of yourself, you're going to be so void of yourself that you're going to feel very frustrated in relationships.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm just zipping back to something I saw earlier. Okay. Right. Yes, I'm going to come back to something in just a minute. Right, in the meantime, now, let's have a quick look here. Susanna, I hope this is helping you. You understand there. She says, yes, definitely. Thank you very much. Great. And I've got, now I'm going to go straight for that pile of cards there. It's one I felt I was drawn to for you. And where are we going here in front of you? Right. I'd also like to say, yes, I see there's been loads of disappointments here. However, however, now this also relates to around you. It's very interesting here, children. One child is going to feel very connected to you, very, very connected to you. Another child is going to be worried about money or not so worried about the connection with you. Distant to you. But in the middle ground, though, is you. And this is the fairness. The fairness that's going to come in. It's interesting. This card's come up twice this morning. So it is about the fairness and the balance. And all you have to do is put yourself out to saying, here I am with this lovely colour yellow, but you don't need to excel yourself to make other people think that, to kind of keep other people happy. They've got to see you as you are. And then it works. It works. Yes.
Yeah, the energies of the moment, and I mean, we're going into a year, at least the first half of the year for sure. It's all about learning how to relate to others from in a different way,
Yeah.
in more a heart-based space in which you just communicate what you feel and what you want, but not what you want from others. It's what you need or what's good for you.
Yeah.
So to be really able to communicate what your heart feels and not what your expectations are from somebody else. If we have expectations, if we want a result from somebody else, then we're not connecting to the heart.
Okay.
So if I expect you to answer me, if I expect you to come back to me, if I expect you to put my garbage out, if I expect you to whatever it is, be on time even, that we think like, oh no, it's normal, if we are agreed to meet at certain time, then you have to be there at that time, otherwise you're a bad human being.
Oh dear. We can't have that now.
And it's not that, it's that, but that's how we work, that's how our
Yes.
mind works. And it's like, oh, you're bad, you're doing this to me, that means I'm going to close off myself from you and I'm going to protect myself from you because you're a bad human being. I don't care if you're my husband and we've been married for 20 years, I cannot trust you, but because I cannot trust you, you have to do exactly what I want from you. It's like, please, that's how we've been relating to people. Can you see how damaging
Absolutely.
this is, how
Yes.
unreal this is, how not heartfelt this is? That we have to stop doing this. This isn't good for us. It's not good for anybody. And we can't create a relationship from there anymore.
No. No. And I
So
think that it's.
what do I need? I
Mm,
need to, like, right now I'm feeling this way. I need to feel this better. So I'm going to make myself feel better. And if I'm asking you, okay, let's go out, and you're saying yes, but then you don't say when, or we meet at a certain time and you don't come, then I'm going to go, look, hey, I'd love to see you go, but since it's not happening because I see that when I try, you don't appear, and this doesn't make me feel good, I'm not going to try anymore.
no.
Like, I really
No.
like you, but that's it, that kind of thing. Is being very honest with what you're feeling. And okay, if the other person doesn't respond, it's okay. And if that makes you feel
Absolutely.
really,
Yes, bang on there. I think it's a very important part for Susanna to look at there is relationships is you put yourself out there with your integrity. If people respond, great. If they don't, they don't. Okay, brilliant. Okay,
exactly. So that's the message. And same as with Sarah before, it's like really taking care of yourself so you can do whatever you want. You can express your feelings. You can try and meet somebody. You can do whatever you want. But if your action is not being received, or the way you're receiving your action, better said, is making you feel unhappy or not good, then stop doing that. And communicate it. It says, I'm not going to try this avenue anymore because it doesn't make me feel good.
no,
But you leave the person off the hook. Nobody else is responsible for how you're feeling. Doesn't matter what mainstream society thinks.
I absolutely agree with you. Now, mainstream society, I think a lot of people are letting that go and feeling within themselves, and that's the magic. That's the magic
Yeah.
of awesomeness and individuality. That's amazing. Okay, Deborah asks, 10th of 1st, 1961, new projects and stepping forwards. And we were talking earlier on about that time, about stepping forwards into the future and how that works, how it's going to work there. And I think I think for a lot of people, people are going into this theory now about stepping forwards and looking towards new projects and where they're going to go. And I think letting go of that old stuff, the old stuff there. I'd also say as well is it is although for instance you being a Scorpio rising, going through this particular time, we'll go over a few minutes if that's okay with you. Okay with you there, because I know things the system crashed a little bit. We've got such an interesting topic conversation brought up this morning because you're Scorpio rising, aren't you?
Yes.
And having Scorpio rising is, and that energy that we've been talking about, Scorpio, having to let go of those old insecurities and having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding through astrology and psychology, and letting go of old beliefs, old ways, old Scorpio traits to move into a new time. Do you find this for Scorpio people? This is a challenging time, or Scorpio rising people?
No.
Okay.
Not the ones I know. Like the ones I know are really, like, I've never seen Scorpio rising integrate Scorpio better than this year. Because the problem with Scorpio rising, there's a huge tendency to go into the mind and not have the experience. And the learning is connect with the experience, connect with the emotions, and don't use your mind to try to avoid experiences.
That's so interesting, and how to understand and relate to that. So sometimes, I'll imagine by that here is don't judge something till you've had a go at it or experienced it. Then you can judge it. Is that right?
No, you never judge
No,
things.
not judge, not judge. Experience it. Relate to the experience.
Yes, just have the experience and then say, okay, this is interesting. I like this experience. I don't like it. I might repeat it. I might not. What did I get from it? So it's not avoiding the experience, which is normally Scorpio has this thing that, oh, last time I met somebody like this person. Didn't feel very good. So I'm going to avoid that human being altogether and every single human being that resonates with that one. And this is like, don't do that. Don't
Okay.
do that because that's going to disconnect you from you.
Okay. 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 So what about new projects and stepping forwards?
But who is it
Oh,
this
sorry.
now?
This is Deborah. 10th of the first, 1961. Sorry. Right, I'm just using a tarot on this and see what comes up as well. And so here I got the left, the middle, and right, and I go for the left. Okay, the left. I feel very vibey on the left there. And I think as well is this particular time, especially with the we got Saturn, Jupiter, and listening to some other astrologers. One of them being Rick Levine, very interesting guy, and he was saying here, as we work with our digestive system and as the digestive works, we get that peristalsis of expand contraction, and that Saturn Jupiter thing about going forwards into next year is that sometimes we're going to see our lives expand and we can grow with it, and other times it's going to pull back a little bit, so we have to pull back. And I think that's an interesting thing regarding anything about stepping forwards is knowing that what the energy is going to do next year, how it's going to step forwards, hold on a bit and pull back, and then step forwards again. A bit like the tide. So you are resonating with nature, isn't it?
Hmm.
Mm, yes.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. I think some of it here, I'm looking at the cards here, is new projects and stepping forwards is step forwards. Step forwards. Yes. I think there's some of the strongest energies here to look at this. Stepping forwards. I also would say here too that when we look at the cardinal points coming up through next year, I know you're looking at what you're looking at there. The cardinal points coming this year. So we're coming into the cardinal point of Capricorn, and then we go into the cardinal points of Aries. I get a real sense coming up through next year, a little bit similar to this year, but not in the same way. Where we started off the cardinal point in January, and then we had that March time when suddenly COVID hit and all went AWOL. There's another cardinal point I think in Aries coming up this year, which I think is going to bring on something else. But I think this is a bit more adventurous, a bit more positive next year than what it's been this year. Do you feel the same as
Hmm.
that?
I really haven't tapped into that part. More of like the new relationships and new ways of relating to others.
Okay.
That's the part that I've more tapped into more. And also there's also a part of creating new structures.
Yes. Yes. I
So
think
I
that's
guess
a big
that's
point.
the cardinal energy you're talking about. The
Yes.
creating of new ways, new structures, new ways of doing things.
Yes. And it's interesting because eclipses have come out of the cardinal signs, haven't they? Cancer, Capricorn, and now gone to more mutable, going into Gemini, Sag, and how we're going to see this feeling of change, this feeling, and how we can uh, change into this new dimension come up in front of us. Yes, but that's what I say first of all. So new projects and stepping forwards. Do you think this is a good time where Deborah's concerned for like stepping forwards?
Yeah, I mean, and Deborah has four planets in Capricorn, so definitely it's Jupiter, Sun, Saturn, and Mercury,
Powerful stuff
and
there.
powerful stuff. Yeah, North Node is in Virgo, so it's really her energy is a lot about with South Node in Pisces. It's about she has a Venus in Pisces conjunct the South Node, which makes it's easy for you to be in the comfort zone, to just be in the back, like observing people or just waiting for things to happen, more feeling based, um, and like really not with that moon in Libra, and waiting for others to move, waiting for others to do things. But North Node in Virgo says, move it, do it yourself. Also, the same similar chart to the one we saw previously, because there's not much, just a few months difference. So there's a Chiron Uranus opposition, also talking about individuality. Again, that Lilith in Cancer, which is about focusing on how things should be done, focusing on achieving more than on how you're feeling. And the chart really begs to okay, you're here to do things with others and for others, teaching others, leading others in that way. But it's important that you move forward yourself, and the best way to do it with North Node and Virgo is step by step. If we just do one little thing after the other, it's much easier than to do everything at the same time. But if you stay still and wait for others to move first, your energy is going to drop. It's not good for you.
I think that's a big thing throughout next year is about people stepping forwards. Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
moving with that change. I think it's a powerful thing. Great, brilliant. Well, I think she'll like that. She'll like that. Brilliant. Okay, right. And let's go to have a little look at Julie. Julie's gone for the colour lilac. She's gone. I'll go quickly to the numbers here as well. She's gone for the 2nd of July, 1971. And we're just looking at a general reading around Julie there, which is it's easy when you've got numbers, which are single numbers. It's easy to add up digits quickly. Okay, so And I think here, looking at this so far, is Julie. One thing I like to say here with Lila, I love that color there. Really resonates on a feminine lady with a lady here that I would say is your grandmother. The way she's coming through, and I think I get a feeling here that she's very, very. She wants to talk about birthdays. Come out. It's not yours. No, it's not yours. But there's birthdays or passings very much in this particular time, and I get that strong energy from her. And she's come out to show me this. She also wants to show me here. In fact, I'm just tuning in her energy. You've been learning a lot, haven't you? You've been learning a lot. She tells me here. She says here that would you understand here that you've been looking back a lot behind you, and this is I need to start transiting this change, whichever is going through at this moment, and start to look forwards. And it's interesting here. It's scared of your, in a sense, it's being scared of yourself in what you can do and will you be good enough. And I would say here that just by picking up by your grandmother's energy here, I think you would shock yourself by what you're capable of doing and what how amazing you could be. And but I think as well, it's always looking around and being too aware of what other people think. When really, if you get on and do what you're going to go and do, then people will go, "Oh wow!" They won't do what you think they're going to do. And so I would say it's a little bit like Deborah's, is about stepping forwards, maybe a little bit of step by step, maybe a little of going forwards here in life here, because otherwise we do the great thing. One of the American poets said this. I'll get his name up in a minute. He says here, in 10 years' time, you won't look back at what you did. You'll look back at what you wish you had done. And so for you, I would say, Julie, is do not live in regret about the things you wish you had done. And I think it's time, it's come up to time stepping forwards. And I asked for general reading, but that's what came through from your grandmother. Lovely, lovely lady. Very spiritual herself. She said, yes, she had a spirituality to herself here. And I felt that she was a very strong lady too. And I felt here too, she wants to, she's also got a little black and white dog over there as well that she wants to connect with either her or you. And, oh, you're moving home soon, she says. You're moving home. Okay. Far away, Guiomar. What have we got on there?
So I'm still always fascinated on how similar the charts are when we have like the
Yes.
charts of same day. They're so similar. Like again, we have Cancer, we have Libra. This is a Cancer Sun. There's a Libra Moon, also Lilith in Libra. There's Uranus Chiron. There's Chiron. Yeah. So again, it's all about this. It's about the other. It's about coexisting with others, but keeping your individuality at the same time. Lilith, what else did I see there? The Saturn, Lilith Uranus. It's about in North Node in Aquarius. It's about keeping in mind others, but at the same time, getting together with others. So it's cardinal. Sun in Cancer is a cardinal sign. It's about moving. It's about doing your own thing, but with others, in groups, in knowing how to connect with others, trying to get everybody together.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too, and I think it's that's a big point there. I also look at your numbers here, and next year especially, you go from a number 4, which is all about trying to keep structure, bases, looking after everybody else, and caring, and you then move into a number 5, which is a bit more, in a sense, it's positive or negative depending on which way you look at it, is chaotic. But the only
Yeah,
problem, the thing about chaos is chaos is change. Just change. So sometimes
yeah,
great excitement can come out from chaos.
yeah. Keep in mind, Cancers, sun or rising sign. This next year, what they're living. So this year, they've really had to live like what it means to be codependent because they come from codependency.
Yes, yes,
So now so they've had to let go of a lot of things. So now they have to create like new engaging structures, new ways of relating to others, which is much more open and free for everybody. So they're really bringing in new ways of relating, which that can trigger the feelings of insecurity, and it can go both ways. It can either go like in a very like creating more war or creating more freedom in the relationships.
yes. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's it's a very, very interesting point you're raising there. Also, what I pick up here is looking at the tarot around you. It's understanding, discovering yourself, discovering, and looking more positive.
Yeah.
Breaking away from insecurity, power, control, be around you, and you can have fun and adventure. And my goodness, will you let go of the past? That's what I say around there. Okay, we're coming to 11 minutes past 12. It's we've gone over time actually, but thank you so much. I know Davina, you've just joined, and I apologise for that, but we have to do your show on next Wednesday, or what we'll do is we'll do this on Friday. So in the mediumship show, by your question, I think your question is probably better suited to Friday night. Especially with the mediumship side and the spiritual side that you're looking for there. So sometimes things are meant to be, aren't they? But we'll do it the right way. Do it the right way. And Davina, we won't let you down. We'll be looking forward to see you on Friday. But in the meantime, though, Guiomar, what a fascinating, enjoyable, highly amusing morning.
As usual.
As usual. And no, honestly, from Deborah and I here, we just really appreciate your insight, wisdom, and everything to do with spirituality, astrology, and everything there. And just it makes it a great show. It's always a lovely morning. So you take care. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch up with you very soon. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Big heart.
Bye.
Hearts and burgers. Hearts and burgers. Take care. Lovely to see you. Lovely, great to see you. See you very soon. So, guys, see you on Friday at 8 o'clock Spain time, 7 o'clock UK, and see you very soon. Have a great day.